I just wanted to start with the apprehension numbers. 2020, it was about 8,000 for the year. Last year, just over 114,000, I think. This year, based on the August numbers and your snapshots, looking at over 300,000. What does that growth do to you and your agents in this sector, just in terms of day-to-day operations?
Well, you basically are right on target with the numbers. You know, you go back to 2019, 68,000 arrests, a dramatic dip in 2020 with just over 8,800 arrests, and then in 2021 we had 114,000, and then yes, while the official numbers are not out yet, we will be approaching officially about 310,000 arrests for fiscal year 22. So that is something that has definitely impacted the sector. But as a law enforcement agency, we are always planning. We're always looking to to take what the facts we have, what we're up against, the resources we have, and plan for that. And so we've done a remarkable job. When you look at those numbers, that's unprecedented for Yuma sector. You have to go back to 2005, when our high water mark was 138,000. So we've doubled that. So it's been a remarkable year and a very successful year when you look at what the men and women of the U.S. Border Patrol had to face. And so to process and go through over 300,000 people and maintain border security, it's been a remarkable year. Things that we want to talk about here. Our criminal prosecutions up 250% this past year, focusing on providing a consequence to those criminals that are exploiting the border. Unfortunately, with these numbers, you have migrant deaths were up 170%. That puts a strain on the resources and makes it a tough job. Another alarming stat is the assaults against our agents. That's up over 240% last year. So take all that in consideration with the flow, the assaults against our agents, the impacts to the migrants as they are being exploited coming over here. I mean, it was a remarkable year, but our agents have resolve. They are focused on the mission, and certainly very proud of what we've accomplished. And our agents maintain their professionalism, and they uphold every day our motto of honor first, and that's something they're very proud of.
You talked about the migrant deaths going up. There was that little girl that died in the Colorado River in June, agents being assaulted. I mean, what resources are available to agents if they're struggling with the work itself or something that they've experienced on the...
I'm glad you brought that up. One of the things that we have focused on this year is really focusing on our resiliency program, the mental health and well-being of our agents and all our workforce. We've done multiple events. We've had guest speakers come in and just really more robust of the typical peer support and chaplaincy and employee assistant programs. We're really wanting people to talk about it, to let them know that there is help out there, to make sure that they can talk to any one of us and get help outside of the agency before they allow the stresses of life and this job to put them at risk for saying something wrong or doing something wrong. Hey, we're here. We're all in this together. I mean, this is really a one big Border Patrol family and really one Yuma County, Yuma region family. And so we are doing a lot of that, and we're building off of that. And in fact, that's one of the highlights moving into this current fiscal year and beyond, is really how do we make that more robust. And so I'm excited to see the outcome of some of the initiatives we're taking.
You guys had like a football player, right, come speak to you guys recently too?
Yes, recently had a couple football players, some NFL legends come down here and just motivate and just, hey, we support you. We appreciate what you do out here. And just give them high fives. And then to me that's important because it lets them know that, hey, outside of this green uniform community, there are people out there that have done some amazing things in their own professions, and they're coming out here and thanking us for a job well done, and it goes a long way.
You brought up those migrant deaths. We were in the desert back in June. That was something you guys talked about. You said at that time, I think, over 200 desert rescues. At that point, when we spoke about that, you said that you felt that situation was because of traffickers and smugglers giving false promises to migrants, not necessarily a policy like Title 42. Is that something you still believe in?
So anytime you're dealing with unprecedented flow, it's based off human exploitation by the smuggling organizations, whether it's, right there at the immediate border or, the larger, cartel-driven human trafficking organizations. And I absolutely believe that is what's driving that. There is a lot of people that just cross the border and turn themselves over to Border Patrol agents. So for those that go out into the rougher areas, they're either trying to avoid us altogether. The smugglers are taking advantage of them and pushing them out into areas because of maybe some infighting amongst the smuggling organizations. But it is purely profit making and exploitation of people that is leading to those deaths out there in the desert.
Arizona lawmakers, our senators, have tried to get more Border Patrol resources here because, as you said, it's unprecedented numbers for this sector specifically. Have you seen those efforts come to fruition? Do you feel like you have enough agents right now?
Well, so it is more than just agents, right? It is a system of systems. First and foremost, anybody that supports the Border Patrol and the men and women of the Border Patrol and our border security efforts, we appreciate that. We've seen that come to fruition with the recent approval from DHS headquarters with the closing some of the important gaps and gates in the Morales area. So that's ongoing, but also adding more resources in our processing facilities in the form of contract data input personnel. So that relieves some of the duties from Border Patrol agents. Border Patrol processing coordinators. That allows more people to do the hands-on once people have been taken into custody to free Border Patrol agents up to do their primary mission of border security. So all of that is helping, and that's one of the things that's making a difference. We've been able to put 30 to 40% of our resources in the form of Border Patrol agents back out to the border, compared to what we were doing 6 months ago or last year. So, but for all this to continue, to add technology out into our East Desert, to continue to support the technology we already have, it's going to require continued support from our elected officials, especially in the congressional appropriations aspect, so we can continue to fund these initiatives. Because ultimately, what we've got to do is we've got to focus back on that primary mission of border security. The processing and the immigration piece is separate, but our initiatives and what we're doing on the operation side is what's primary, and that's what we got to do to get out there and keep our border safe.
You just mentioned the DHS efforts to close those gaps in the dam, but right now there's shipping containers sitting in it from the state. I know some of the border wall stuff specifically gets kind of politicized, but just from an operational standpoint, what have those containers done for this sector?
It obviously brings attention to the numbers and what's happening here in Yuma. And as I mentioned, anybody that's trying to help us, we appreciate that. But we've got a long-term plan, a long-term strategy. It's a system of systems. So just one initiative is not going to finish this problem. And so we're looking for the long term and the long game on this, and I think that's well underway.
The year, obviously historic, it also has come with some criticism for this sector in terms of migrant belongings and religious property from local congressmen as well as like the ACLU. I saw this morning migrants were putting their property onto the bus. In the past, I've seen them have to throw it away. What is the policy, I guess, for migrants and their belongings and what they can bring with them after they've given themselves up to Border Patrol?
So, our agents are following our high-level policy driven down from headquarters, something been in place for many years. And then we have our headquarters Border Patrol initiatives that require us to make decisions based on, the situation at hand. When you're looking at 400 or 500 people at a time, we're limited in what people can take. This is a law enforcement setting. This isn't a port of entry. These are not people that came into the country illegally. They have entered the country illegally, and they are under arrest. And so we have policies and procedures that support what we're doing. Certainly recognize that there's some sensitivities involved here, and I know that there's some investigations going on, but our policy allows us to do what we need to do. We have some latitude, and we've taken those things into consideration to fix any misunderstandings. But we're going to continue to do what we need to do given the flow that comes in. And again, our agents are doing everything within policy.
In terms of just when you go home at night, obviously this is probably not a job that's 9 to 5 all the time, but is there anything that keeps you up at night specifically? Is there one portion of this whole thing that is most concerning to you?
Well, I think it's what we don't know is what keeps myself and probably most other Border Patrol agents and certainly other chiefs up at night. When you look at these numbers and we know that the exploitation of people, what is it that we are not seeing? What group that came through here and got processed, could we have taken another look at to make sure that there's not some kind of trafficking or some other victimization that could be occurring, because a lot of these organizations, the plans are made before they even arrive at the border. And then, the other piece is, while all of this is occurring, it is limiting and putting a strain on our primary mission, and that's border security. Our agents should be out there looking for people that are smuggling people, trafficking narcotics, other contraband, and truly bad actors that could be using the large flow of people to deflect from our resources. And we know that happens. And so to me, that's what keeps me up at night, is what we could be doing better to get out there on the line more consistently to avoid problems like that.
What have you thought of the response from the county on all these issues? I mean, you have a lot of 911 calls going to the Somerton-Kokomo Fire Department. Mayor Nichols declared a local emergency. Regional Center for Border Health is taking in a lot of these migrants after they've been released from here. What has that support been like?
Amazing. This is something that we've been talking about with the local leaders since early last year when I first got here, and we started seeing the rise in numbers. I have a good relationship with the community, especially the local leaders, the mayor, the sheriff, the non-government organizations you mentioned, Regional Center for Border Health, county supervisors. We have made sure that the relationships maintain a good professional conversation. I was with the Kokopaw chairwoman yesterday talking about things. So the support for the community that supports our border security mission has been amazing. It makes me very proud to be a chief here in Yuma. And I think that the continual planning, the conversation, coming together and talking about things allows a level of calm to handle the situation much better. And so, very, very proud of the relationship we have and the support that we get from not only just career servants here in Yuma County, but also the elected officials that are supporting this overall mission that impacts everybody here.
I mean, Yuma being a border town, no stranger to issues with Mexico and safety. There's a local emergency in place, but would you still tell Humans that they're safe in their community?
Our Border Patrol agents and the people here that support the Border Patrol are committed to this mission. I feel safe living here. I am very proud of what they do. While we do have a lot of attention brought to Yuma because of the numbers, as I mentioned, we've taken all these efforts to get our agents back there. One thing I think that everybody should know is everybody that we take into custody, they are being screened. Their biometric data is being screened. We are looking out for anything that is an anomaly, and we will take additional action. As I mentioned, our criminal prosecutions are up 250%, so we're providing a consequence to those criminal elements that we're encountering. So I have no doubt that the men and women that are wearing the uniform are out there doing their best job every day. And so I would say to those here in Yuma and in the region to be proud of their Border Patrol agents. They're standing strong and doing their job, and we're not going to let you down.
Thank you for your time. Just lastly, I guess, looking into 2023, do you expect the numbers to stay the same, go up, go down, and then would there be any, resources or anything that you're looking to add going into this year, whether it be, the actual wall getting filled in, more processing ability for your agents?
Well, this is law enforcement, so we are always planning. We're always basing things off facts. What have we learned, best practices? We're not going to speculate about what could or could not happen, but we're going to plan based on facts. And 5 days completed in the fiscal year, and our number hasn't changed any. So, our critical assumption is unless there is major policy shifts or legal changes in law, we're going to be up against similar numbers that we've experienced this last year. But we've always improved. We've always built in efficiencies. We've managed these workloads in the past. And Yuma sector has done a great job this last year. Innovation, the way we do things. So we're freeing up our agents from being bogged down on just processing to getting out there and doing their job. that they come to work every day to do. Certainly, when infrastructure plans are completed and filling these gaps, that's going to allow us to address other issues. The technology that we have in place is already helping us with surveillance and also maintaining a level of command control out on the border. And then we've got additional technology platforms coming out in the near future. So all of these things added together is going to make this next year a little bit better, and that's all we can hope for.
Is there anything else you want to add or feel like I'm missing?
No, I think the important piece is, we're in a good position. We're better positioned today than we were this time last year. We can better manage the situation because we have the resources. And I think what I would really like for everybody to know, and just kind of reiterate from the previous question, is the Humans should be proud of what the Border Patrol agents are doing, and that they should feel safe in their community, because not only the Border Patrol, but our Sheriff's Department, our Police Department, the Arizona Department of Public Safety, as well as our friends at the port, are taking care of business. And we're going to reduce those impacts to the community. And that's our mission going forward.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You got it.